talking of steroid abusers, we know that muscle has what we call epigenetic memory. So what that means is the genes that are expressed. So you can have a gene, and depending on what you do, it can be active or inactive. Right. So for example, if you do muscle strengthening exercise, the genes for hypertrophy will be expressed. Right. And there was a really interesting, I think it was a in vitro study, so like a muscle cell in a glass, can't remember, is that muscle has an epigenetic memory of steroid abuse, right? So if you do steroid abuse, if you inject testosterone, or the synthetic version, age 18, and you get away with it, and then you go to the Olympics, age 25, your muscle still has an epigenetic memory of that.
So it has a trace of like proof that you've used it.
Yeah, well, it's undetectable.
Oh.
But the muscle still responds.
Okay.
Yeah. So this study was published at the time Justin Gatlin was getting his second 1-year ban. This might be a dated reference. He was a 100, 200 meter sprinter, American. I think he might still be running, or he was definitely running in the last 3 or 4 years, age 40. He was banned 2 or 3 times for steroid abuse. And obviously the science tells us that even if you dose once, your muscle has a memory of that and will therefore recover faster, grow faster, etc.
On the steroids side of things, because that's also a big problem on social media, is that there's a lot of influencers using it, and the dangerous side is a lot of people use it and still consider themselves natty, so natural. What do you make of this situation? Because it's sort of getting out of control.
Yeah, I've heard it's like 10% of young men or 10% of young male gym users are using synthetic testosterone, something like that.
That's crazy.
It's quite worrying, yeah. I think it speaks to, and I'm generalizing, maybe a young person's mindset, like the now is important and I'll deal with the rest later.
With the consequences, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at World's Strongest Men, competitors, they don't have a large life expectancy. So there are not many of them that live into their 60s.
Wow.
Yeah. So everything that you inject into your body, although you want it to go into the muscle, right? So growth hormone, synthetic testosterone, or whatever the designer steroid is at the moment, most tissues in your body have a receptor for that substance. So what that means is you will have a growth of your bicep, but you'll also have a growth of your large intestine, your left ventricle of your heart, your kidney, liver, etc., etc., etc.
How is that bad in any way?
So left ventricular hypertrophy is sort of a leading risk factor for heart attack.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So big time.
Big time. Also, your vessels, so the veins and arteries that carry blood around, they're made of smooth muscle, and only the middle part is muscle. The inside outside is kind of just a lining tissue. But if you think about like a circle, if this outside swells, then that's going to close up the middle, what we call the lumen. And so then you can imagine that the blood is flowing at a higher pressure. So that increases blood pressure, which again is a risk factor for heart attack or cardiovascular events. So most World's Strongest Man competitors don't have a cardiovascular event and die from heart attack or similar.
Yeah, I think it's just sad because a lot of young men sort of idolize these guys, and above that they think it's attainable. And the worst thing is that some of these guys actually sell courses saying, "Oh, I was a skinny dude, now I'm jacked. Follow these steps, buy my course, and you'll get the same results," when it's biologically not possible. And then it's just going to push more young men to be like, well, might as well try it. I don't think people actually understand the repercussions of that. Do you think you could dive into that a bit more? Or is that all you really had to say about the side effects of steroids?
It's not really my research area. I know, obviously, I know a bit about the beneficial effects of muscle. I don't want to really push that too much. It's a banned substance in competitive events, and has an epigenetic memory. So there's an argument for a lifetime ban, really, because it has a lifetime effect. In terms of the side effects, it acts on all tissue. There's quite a lot made about, or there was made in the 70s, about roid rage. So we know testosterone is linked, although loosely, in normal amounts, like physiological amounts, to aggression. In supra-physiological doses, like steroid abusers, we know that affect's amplified, so we know that exists. And hypertrophy of the heart is pathophysiological. So that's a negative physiological response to something. And we know that's a huge risk factor for like sudden cardiac death or myocardial infarction, heart attack. And it lowers the age that is likely to happen. So although it might be appealing to a 20-year-old to have big biceps, or particularly traps, obviously, they might not, if they continue on this regimen for a long time, it's definitely going to shorten their life.